Welcome to Talk Spicy to Me, a podcast where two best-selling authors go rogue and talk all things romance. The good, the bad, the unbearably hot, and everything in between. I'm one of your hosts, Giana Darling, lover of poetic pose, morally gray men, and steam hot enough to melt your Kindle.
And I'm Kandi Steiner, writer of emotional roller coasters, angsty love stories, and whiskey-soaked heartbreak that'll ruin your life in the best way. Together, we are peeling back the sheets on the romance world, from sharing behind-the-scenes writing stories and debunking industry myths to swooning over our favorite spicy reads and messy book boyfriends.
So grab your favorite beverage, climb into your cozy reading nook, and settle in.
It's about to get spicy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad we're back.
Episode 2, let's go.
Let's go. It feels so good to be recording again. I don't know. It's something to look forward to every week. I'm like, I get to hang out with my girl, sometimes with another friend, and it's just the best. It's like the carrot at the end of my stick.
It was so fun to kick off the first episode with a guest.
Yes.
Like, that was really cool. I thought that was really fun.
Especially because we both love her. Like, it just really was... It just filled my cup instantly. I'm like, oh my gosh, perfect first guest. She's incredible. It was such a good surprise. I love the surprise as well, I have to say. Like, I love surprising you. I love being surprised. I think it's such a fun element of the pod.
Me too. It's my favorite, especially because I never have any idea who you're going to bring on. And I'm always curious if you have any idea who I'm going to bring on. So far, we've guessed every time, but I know there's going to be a time that comes that you're going to be like describing who your guest is. And I'm going to be like, I have no idea who it is. So I'm pumped for that.
I feel like it might take another season or two for that, though, because
right?
I feel like, I don't know, there's so many people to ask, right? You're like, and they're all so exciting. And yeah, I was even thinking today, I was like, how did I not ask this person this season? Like, because it's just, we just don't have the time. I would invite so many people all the time, but it's great. We'll just keep going.
I have a list.
Inviting.
Yes, I have a list on my phone, and I just, when things pop up to me, I just add it in there. What are you drinking, by the way? This looks lovely. Is it tea?
It's tea. It's ginger lemon tea for my sweet little nauseous self.
Yes. Oh, sweet baby. We'll get to that in the bump date later. Are you feeling okay? Are you hanging in there?
You know, I still throw up every day, but that's fine. At this point, it's just like, at least I'm a masochist because it makes me feel like I'm earning motherhood. So it's okay.
Oh. And you're going to earn it every step of the way.
I think so, yeah. And also, I'm a positive poly, too. So, like, it's fine. It's all good. It's just sometimes annoying and inconvenient. Honestly, this is like TMI maybe, but I now can't stand the smell of my dog's poop bags because I've had to throw up into them during emergency circumstances one too many times.
Stop it.
So now they just make me nauseated. Yeah. I'm like, oh God, please don't get those near me.
That makes sense. I was fortunate enough to not have nausea as long as you did. But when I did, I had a very severe aversion, and it lasted all through my pregnancy, which was to reheating chicken. So like if I cooked it the first time, I was fine. But if you microwaved chicken, it was something about that specific smell that I could not do. And I wouldn't eat it. And anytime we were eating red meat, Jack had to cook it. Like I could not cook red meat when I was pregnant.
I can't really cook meat. Like I can put it in the oven because it's kind of like, if I can just kind of slap it in a pan, put it in the oven, that's fine. But if I have to be tending to it, it really grosses me out. And chicken has been like my first and biggest aversion, which sucks because that's usually what I eat.
Yeah, it's like lean protein.
Yeah.
It's in every dish imaginable.
Yeah.
And your body is like, ooh, I don't really want that right now.
That's
I
weird.
wanted all the things that like I wasn't supposed to have. Like I have never wanted a cold cut turkey sandwich as badly as I wanted one when I was pregnant, to the point where I got to the point in my third trimester where I was like, I'm pretty sure it's fine. I'm going to have a turkey sandwich. Like I just am.
I read this book called Expecting Better by an economist who did, like all of this research. And really, she says you're actually more likely to get listeria from like cut fruit at the grocery store than you are from deli meat, especially if it's like from a reputable place. So I don't know. You got to pick and choose your evils.
I know. I read that as well in my first trimester, which is what gave me the freedom to have coffee all through my pregnancy because
Yes.
she gave me permission. She was like, coffee's probably fine as long as you're not chugging 7 cups of it. And I was like, cool.
Even doctors
Great.
now say you can have coffee. I think it's like up to 4 cups a day, which is honestly a lot. But the whole
It
stunting
is.
baby's growth and stuff is just not true. So
Yeah.
yay for that.
And I played against the rules a little bit too with like how hot my bath water was because I don't know if you like I am such a bath girly and
Me
they were
too.
like you need to not have a bath that's warmer than 99 degrees. So the first bath I ran when I was pregnant when you need a bath the most, like when
Yeah.
you are just like you're
You're
like need
struggling.
comfort, you need something. And I ran a bath at that temperature and I immediately was like, this is cold. Like, this is cold. I'm not comfortable. And I was like crying about it. And then I was like, you know what? I know my body. And in expecting better, I think she phrased it. She was like, it's your internal temperature that's the issue. So as long as you are not sweating or like turning red, then you are probably fine. And
Yeah.
so I kind of went by that. And we are not doctors, by the way.
No, don't take
But
medical
this is just
advice
what
from
I
us. I haven't
no.
taken a bath since I got pregnant because like part of me is just it's just the good girl coming out. Like I just am a rule-based person, which is so funny given that I write about like criminals and morally gray people all the time. I think it's because I live vicariously through them because I'm just like such a tried and true good girl, rule follower, like sometimes get anxious jaywalking sort of girly. So when it's like, hey, you probably shouldn't take because I'm like, what's the point of a bath if it's not hot? Like, I want to get into a hot bath with the bubbles, with the candles, and relax. And I thought about it the other day. I literally was in my bathroom staring at my bath, and I was like, should you just have a bath? But alas, I have not had one yet.
I'm just saying, if you ever get in the mood to really want one, with if you're careful, I think you'll be fine.
And
but
it's more,
again, I'm not a doctor.
It's the most dangerous in the first trimester when like your heat variables really are, because baby's so fragile.
I know, baby's so fragile.
Baby's not so fragile.
Okay, well, no, baby is strong.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to get into our bump date later and our spice report first to kick us off. But before we jump in, we want to thank our season sponsors for supporting the show. First up is Willow Astor, a USA Today bestselling romance author and a dear friend of both of us. The book we are featuring from Willow is What It Takes, which is a sexy small town romance, my favorite, with brothers' best friend tension, enemies to lovers, and a chef who moves to town and turns everything upside down.
We're also sponsored this season by Lena Hendricks, who is a USA Today and Amazon top 5 bestselling author of Hot as Sin small town romance. Her featured book is called Chasing the Sun, with single dad energy, which we love, rivals to lovers, grumpy sunshine, and all the spicy small town vibes. Huge thank you to Willow and Lena for supporting the podcast. Make sure you guys check out their books.
Yes. Huge thank you. And thank you for listening to our sponsorships. That means a lot to us too. Let's get into our spice report. We get to do a full one because it's not a guest episode, so we're not like as hard on time here. So do you want to start us off with what your mild is?
Can we go in reverse? Can we start with hot?
Yeah.
Just because I feel like my hot sets off all the others. Because it's like, and no one will be surprised by this if they know me or if they're just like alive in the universe right now. I feel like everyone is as obsessed with this as I am. But my hot is heated Rivalry. Okay.
That's my hot.
Obviously it's the hot. I mean, I have watched every single episode 5 times, which am I obsessive? Yes. Does it deserve it? Yes. So both things can be true. And I'm just obsessed with them. And I read the book when it first came out like years ago. Loved it. Put it on one of my favorite romance reads of all time. Then I reread the whole series before the TV show came out. And I have to say, especially going into it with the book fresh in my mind, I truly believe this is the best romance adaptation that has ever existed. And I don't know if you agree with me, or if you've read the books, but like it is the minute changes that they made were like to names. Like the team names are different. Some of the character names are different. There's a little bit of difference with like Svetlana and Rose, but very mild. Really, this is the truest adaptation I've ever seen. And as an author and as a reader, I'm thrilled by the authenticity. And I feel like it's one of the things that makes it so great is that it's not ashamed of its source material. Like, it is proud to be a romance forward, spicy, emotional queer romance. And I
so
love
hot.
it. It's so hot. It's the intimacy coordinator like needs an award because the chemistry between them is insanity. Like, it just sparks. It's just, I have no notes. I have no negative notes. No. I just think it's amazing.
Okay. So we are at two different points in our journey here. So as a mother of a 17-month-old who just survived the chaos that is Christmas and traveling and finishing a book under deadline all in the same time, there was no TV that existed in my life for weeks. So I just watched the first episode of Heated Rivalry after our last episode recording. It's like so fresh in my mind. And it's like my little treat to myself now. Like, I just finished edits today and I'm packing. We are heading to Florida tomorrow. I'm going to host my best friend's bridal shower, which I'm very excited about. But after I pack tonight, my reward for kicking my ass and getting my edits done on time and packing for a baby and packing for myself is I get to watch another episode of Heated Rivalry. Yes. And I actually kind of love that I can slowly devour it, that like I've done a really good job of avoiding spoilers. The only thing I've seen is like we're going to the cottage. So I know the cottage is a big deal and I'm anticipating it. Yeah. But I don't think this will spoil anything, but episode 1, right off the bat, the bikes, are we kidding? The shower, are we kidding? The tension is nuts. Yeah. It is as angst girlies, no wonder we're like feral for it. Yes. And so I actually bought the books when the series came out. Before I had watched it, I had not read the books before, but I went and I just bought all of them, mostly because I was so thrilled that the whole world was talking about queer romance this way. And I was like, yes, I want to support. So I bought all of Rachel's books. And so next, after I watch the series, my plan is to read all the books. So I did this with The Summer I Turned Pretty too. I watched the first season and then I devoured all the books. So I'm excited to do that. So we're kind of like in reverse order here.
I kind of love that though. And I think that especially with this situation, you won't be disappointed, which is really nice. Like, the TV show isn't better than the books aren't better than the TV show. Like, they're both brilliant. I definitely think, I'm curious because it got renewed for season 2. Huzzah. I was super excited about that. Because Ilya and Shane actually have a second book, Long Game, which arguably, I'm going to say I even like more than Heated Rivalry if we're just like talking about angst and emotion and stuff. It's so freaking good. So I can't wait for that. And the rest of the books in the series are really good too. So you will not be disappointed and it'll be such a treat. And the show is amazing. I have to say shout out to Canada because it's a Canadian-based show. And production.
Yes,
so
and they did it right.
They did it right. Honestly, I feel like if you look at that and you look at Schitt's Creek, it's just like such great representation of queerness and just makes me happy. I just love that it was dealt with like with such a deft hand and with so much respect and love, and I love it.
Schitt's Creek, best comedy of all time. Like, best comedic show to ever exist.
I'm rewatching it right now with my husband for like the 5th time, and every time I rewatch it, I just discover something new or another way that I find Moira hilarious, or like it's just so good. Ugh. So Moira has
fold
this
in
bit.
The cheese, David.
Just fold it in. It's like so funny. And even Hayden and I, when we refer to the baby, we'll sometimes do it with like Moira's accent. We'll be like, "But Hayden, the baby." It's just
the baby.
It's the baby. It's so good. Oh my gosh. So anyway, that's my massive hot take is that it's an amazing show, which is also yours, I guess, but it'll lead into my mild because for people, or not mild, my medium, for people who are like, oh my gosh, I read the books, they're so good, and I really want a similar vibe because they're written in third person, which is not the industry standard, I would say. I actually find it more so in MM romance than in MF romance, third person narrative. But if you're wanting those same like quite hockey specific, like it's a sports romance with hockey as a main element and some great characterizations, I would highly recommend the two authors, Taylor Fitzpatrick, who writes actually on AO3 as well. They have a lot of free books on AO3, but they also have ones published. 3 is the luckiest number. Gives a lot of Shane and Ilya. Definitely the main character is like probably on the autism spectrum, but it's done so well. It's a beautiful story. And it's also, Taylor Fitzpatrick also has a really sad book. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. So maybe avoid that one because it's sad. But the rest of them are happy. And then Catherine Cloud is another one who has really great books that are kind of, again, in a similar vein. Hockey focused, and it feels like they really know what they're talking about, which as a sports lover myself, I do love reading sports romances that do have something to do with the sport other than them just like playing it. Like there's some specifics that you can kind of, sink your teeth into. And both of these authors do it really well if you're searching for more to read after Rachel's amazing Game Changer series.
I'm adding these to my TBR because all of that is right up my alley. I especially, like, it is so important to me. I don't need the whole book to be all about the sport, but like there's so many great times when it works really well in the story. And I want to see the athletes playing their sport and I want to know how they feel during it. I also love when you're in the perspective of someone watching them in their element and like what that looks like. So I'm all about it. Okay, my medium is kind of in line with what my hot was last week. So I downloaded this new app at the beginning of the year, or well, I guess like right at the end of last year, called Index. It's INDYX. And it is an app where you upload like all the items from your closet and you make sort of like a digital closet. And
like Clueless?
You can like Clueless. Now, it doesn't necessarily dress you, but the idea is that it helps you style yourself and you also keep track of every day what you wear. So like I'll take a mirror selfie of myself and then you add like, okay, what am I wearing from my closet? And it'll save it for that day.
I love that.
You can also style, like if I'm just like bored and I'm like, what am I going to wear tomorrow? I can be like, I really want to wear this shirt. And then I can play around there like, how could I style it? Put it all together, take a selfie and save it. Right. And then there is data, which as a girl, I am not a math girly, but I love data. I love data so much. And it'll be like these are the items that you wear the most. You have not worn these items this year. Like these are the items that are the oldest in your closet. Like you can get as granular as you want. And so I'm just like very slowly going through like adding all the items from my closet, putting like, if I can remember when I got them, it asks you like, was it new or was it secondhand? Is it a gift or did you buy it? Like so much. You can do seasons. Anyway, so I am really like leaning into like, I've always been the girl who's like, I don't know how to dress myself. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have style. I don't have fashion. And that's a bold-faced lie. Like we all have fashion. We all have style. The problem is we are surrounded by so many corporations and companies that are saying you should be wearing this. This is what's in style. This is what's cool. And if you really lean into what you actually like, I think that you will tap into your style more. Like if you think about it, has your favorite color changed? Probably not in the last like 10, 15, 20 years. Has your favorite food change? You probably still like Italian or whatever. Like all these things about yourself are still true. So your style is there. You just have to uncover it. So I've been really leaning into that and having so much fun with it and like styling myself. So that's my medium.
I love that. And I think that it makes a lot of sense because you have been on, I feel like for the last, I guess since you had Rosie, you have been on this like, I feel like fashion journey, style journey. And there's been this evolution of like you finding Newly and you having the 7-point system and now this, that it makes a lot of sense that this is almost like the accumulation of all of that. Like, okay, now that you have the pieces that you love, now that you know what you feel confident in and you kind of lean towards, you can actually like put it all in this program and see what it looks like from a zoomed out perspective.
Yeah. And like let go of things that I don't wear anymore, right? Like there's some stuff that I'm like, or if I really love it, okay, time to wear it, time to style it and figure it out. Otherwise, why is it in my closet? So yeah, I think it'll be fun.
I love that. I'm going to look that up after the pod and see what that's about.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your mild?
My mild, again, is in keeping with this like theme because I mean that I love romance so much. And I love queer romance so much. I also love sapphic romance. I love MMF romances, just any sort of queer romance I eat up. So I wanted to highlight someone who's actually a queer male author writing queer male romance, because I think that's always really important when you're like entering a space, is to uplift people who identify in that space. And 100%, he is one of the best authors that I read. He's fairly prolific. He took a break to because of some family troubles, but he has a lot of books out, including some hockey romances called Gravity and The Fall. It's Tal Bauer. I'm currently rereading some of his books, including the Enemy of States series, which is about a Secret Service agent and the President of the United States. So it's super forbidden, which I'm obsessed with. And it's just so well done. And obviously, Tal has some experience in either the Secret Service or in policing, because a lot of his books are kind of romantic suspense or romance mystery sort of things. And so cool. He knows what he's talking about, which again, it's kind of like with sports romance, but I think people a lot of the time trivialize romance and they're like, oh, it's just fluff. For me, I actually love romance where I also learn something, which is why I love sports romance where they really lean into the sport, or it's set in a place that I've not been before, or I feel like we learn through reading so well. And so with Tal's books, I always feel like I'm learning something and I'm super immersed in the world. And so I highly recommend him. Add to your TBR if you love romance.
Done. 100% done. Oh, I love that so much. Okay, I was like torn with my mild because there's a show I'm watching and a book I'm reading, but I'm going to go with the show. Okay. So Jack and I are finally catching up on Stranger Things. So I think we are
Me too.
Are you too?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we just watched episode 6 last night, I'm pretty sure. Or 5. No, we watched episode 5 last night.
Of season 5.
Of the final season. Yeah. So we're like in it. We're in the final. And we watched a little recap beforehand to like refresh ourselves. And it's interesting. It's my mild because I'm really enjoying it. I love the story. I love these characters. And so I'm like really excited to see where it goes. But it's only mild because I don't know. I just feel like some of the magic is missing this season and I don't know what it is. I'm like, it's cool, but like I've been pulled out of the story more often. Like in last episode or like last seasons, I would be like insatiable. I couldn't watch it fast enough. I wanted to binge it. I didn't care how late I would stay up. And now I'm like, we watch an episode and I'm like, okay, like I can stop there. And yeah, just some of it, I don't know. I feel like something's off.
That's so interesting that you say that because I think I also just watched episode 5 last night as well. So we're in it and I am,
wow,
as you said, I'm enjoying it. But I do wonder, because I was thinking about this too. I felt almost like I was waiting still for it to get going in a different way. And I wonder if it's because they're really disconnected, the characters themselves. Like they're not really all together. They don't feel all copacetic. There's a lot of like angst between the characters and a lot of disconnect between them. And I'm just like, and everyone's kind of in a different place. And I think that when I really enjoy Stranger Things is when they're all really working together and you see the dynamics between like the whole group, which isn't to say that there aren't some smaller groups operating together and whatever, but I do kind of understand what you're saying. And I also echo that feeling. So I'm curious to see how we feel about the finale, like how if by the end of it, we're like, oh, no, that was all worth it. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also agree.
We have to circle back to this.
Yeah, we will. Let's circle back to it because right now it's a mild for me too.
Okay. All right. I'm glad we're aligned in this. So hot for Heated Rivalry, mild for Stranger Things.
Yes. Which makes sense, honestly, I think.
That tracks.
It's on brand.
I love it.
Okay. Are we ready to get into the meat of the episode? Yeah. I'm pretty excited about this one because I think, so what we're talking about today is an author and their team. So by team, we mean specifically the people that we work with usually on a day-to-day basis, who help us run our business. And I think the way that we want to dive into this is kind of starting from the beginning. Obviously, when you're starting out as an author, your team is yourself. You don't have any money.
The end.
You don't have any resources. You don't know who you would even hire if you could. So you are the end all be all. And I think that, Kandi, you'll agree with me. I was in that space of working for myself by myself for too long.
100% too long.
I think a lot of us do that because I don't think you can actually be a successful indie author if you're not a little bit controlling, or if you don't enjoy
Yes.
control a little bit, because you do have so many decisions on your plate and you do have your fingers in every single pie, that giving up that control feels almost it doesn't only feel scary, it also feels wrong. You're like, but I'm in charge of all
Yes.
of this, so how am I supposed to delegate? um and so it's obviously a
And there's like
journey.
also there's like a level of pride with it too, right? Like I
Totally.
was like so proud to be like, guys, I'm a one woman show. I'm shipping my books, I'm writing my books, I'm editing, I'm marketing, I'm publishing, I'm doing all these things. And it really made me proud that I had my hands in everything. I mean, up until very, very recently, I designed all of my covers. I still design my male model covers of the Kings of the Ice series that I'm currently in.
Which
Like
I
when I
love.
say hands in every aspect, like hands in every single aspect.
Yes, which people
But it
don't
is like
realize when they're not in the indie space. Like, it's not like you just write a book and then you're done. This is not trad publishing where you just hand it over and Bob's your uncle. This is like, this baby is your baby literally from start to finish. And even now that we work
yep.
with teams, it's still our baby, which is why also it can be really hard when you are ready to grow your team, to find the right people, to know how to delegate, to know what kind of roles you need to fill in order to take things off your plate so that you can write more or just have a more balanced life. It's all a very tricky balancing act. So I feel like the way that we'll tackle it is going from the beginning to, and then kind of moving up to where we are now with probably the biggest teams that we've ever had.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I know we started around the same time. So I started writing in 2012, like my first romance book. I'd been writing long before that, but my first official romance book I started writing in 2012. And I had no idea what I was doing. So when I published it in 2013, it was like, I literally just like threw it up. I mean, I made my own cover using a photograph that a friend took of another friend wearing my husband's dog tags. Like that was where we were at. And so my whole business, I didn't even have a business. It was just like me posting on Facebook to the like friends that I could reach and the reader groups that I had access to at that time. Even like Instagram was not really used for that purpose back then. So like I didn't even really post there about my books yet. And that was it. That was
Yeah.
like the end of the story. And then things just slowly started growing for me. And that's when the task list became longer and longer. It was like, oh, okay, like now, I need to add not just design and writing and editing and publishing and marketing, but like full-fledged marketing and also shipping books and signing books and attending events and ordering all the things I need for events. And it just kind of like
Events
snowballed.
Events is like a
Events,
full-time
girl.
thing anyway. Like, you need someone to just focus on events because the logistics behind those, and we've talked about that before in season 1, we talked about events. But it's unimaginable really when you sit down, and if you were to make a list of what you guess we have to deal with kind of day to day. Sometimes I even work all day and I'm like, what did I do today? Like, I didn't write.
Yeah.
I didn't actually write. I just took care of admin. And you're like, what admin could you possibly have, Giana? You guys, so much.
So much.
It's bananas.
It is, and you open up an email to tackle one thing, and you all of a sudden you've got one thing checked off your list because you opened up that email, but you've now added 10 things to your
Yeah.
list to do because there's 10 action items from that email. And you know, going from where we used to be to where we are now it's just a massive difference. And to be honest, when you are ready to level up in your career, you kind of have no choice but to delegate and bring other people on because it's virtually impossible to scale this business without help. Like you
Yeah.
just can't do it. You can't do it. So who was the first person you brought onto your team, and do you remember like when it was?
Well, I suppose it depends on how you define team, because I feel like we're talking about people that we work with on a day-to-day basis, but I do want to shout out before I get into that. I feel like every established author has a team, like a production team that they work with
Yeah.
with their manuscripts, that really trial and error. Like, I've had, I don't know, maybe 8 different editors over my career, like quite a few different editors that I've worked with. And especially in the indie space, like sometimes you're like, how do I find someone? How do I know their credentials? How do I know if they're good or not? And that was something I really struggled with at the beginning. Again, because we were kind of in the new growth Wild West of romance. It wasn't like you could even go to Alessandra Anchors or something like that and be like, where do I find these people? It was kind of word of mouth. It was also what I did in the very beginning was opening up a book by someone that I loved in the indie space and seeing who their editor was, who their cover designer was, so that I could have some sort of idea of where to go.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah, you just kind of had to do it that way. So, now I know that if you are, wanting to work with an editor or a proofreader, it's totally fine to ask for a sample. You can give them, like 1 to 3 chapters and be like, hey, if you were going to edit this, can you edit it? And we can see how we vibe. You can ask questions like, do you prefer them to just do it all in one chunk? Do you prefer to give them, different chapters at a time? And these are things that you just have to figure out really over time how you work. But now I think where we're both at in our careers, we have an editor or 2 that we work with. We have proofreaders we work with. We have beta readers we work with. We have an audio production team that we like to work with. Like, we have all this figured out, and it's not someone that's necessarily on your day-to-day team, but these are people that factor heavily in your life and in your business. And you do want to make
They're
sure
still part of the team, for sure.
Totally. And you do want to make sure that you're having a really fluid and great communicative relationship with them too, because indie authors also tend to be fairly prolific. Like, we write more than a trad author usually does, and so you're working with these people like anywhere from 1 to like 6 times a year. Like, you're working with them a ton, and so you want to make sure those relationships are good too, and don't settle. I think that's something that we can talk about in this episode too, is like, I know that I struggle with this idea of loyalty, even if the loyalty isn't necessarily like earned. If I'm working with someone, I'm like, well, I'm working with them now. I should probably be with them for forever. And I get that from my mom.
We have talked about this. Yeah. Like, we have a problem with like friendships.
It's hard. Yeah. And you do kind of have a connection. If you've been working with someone for a while, or they're working on your baby, they're working on your books, there is some sort of connection that's formed, and it can be really hard, especially if they're nice people, to be like, hey, we're just not working out professionally together. Like, we're not on the same page, or our styles don't jive. That doesn't mean I don't respect you, enjoy you as a human being, but unfortunately, it's not going to work out. That's almost the worst. It's like when you have a breakup and you're like, you're great, this just isn't working out for me. And it kind of feels worse to have
it's
to do
not
it
you,
that
it's
way.
me.
It is. It's a really hard part of running a business and having a team.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's maybe the hardest part of the whole ordeal, is figuring out who you drive with in all aspects, from your assistant and your editor to your cover designer to your agent. Like, I have been through 3 agents in my lifetime, and this one that I'm with now, Ariel Fredman, is my girl. Like, I'm like, where have you been? We get each other. Like, she is such a shark and goes hard in the paint for me, but she's also a friend. Like, I know I can be honest with her with my vulnerable emotions, and I need an agent who can hold that space for me, because I'm an emotional person. So like, I love that you're a professional. I want you to be professional when you're working for me, but I also need you to like be able to hold space with me. And my editor, I've been with from like, I think, so I won a giveaway from her, and it was like a 1 free book edit.
Oh, wow.
And she did such a great job that I was like, yes, I want you forever. And I have been with her since then. And that was like 2014.
I love that.
She's wonderful. And she gets me. And the reason I keep her around, among many other things, she's wonderful at her job being number 1. But number 2, she is great at working with me specifically. She knows I'm going to give her a date. And I'm like, this is date number 1, because probably I'm going to email her and be like, I need a little more time. Like, it just happens. And she gets it. And sometimes I get down to the wire so much where she will be like, hey, we don't need to push this release back. I will get my job done quicker. You just get it to me when you can. We will make this work. And she just like, it's like invaluable.
It's that specifically. So I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I think a lot of authors are. Some are like incredible, and they're like, oh, I'm actually ahead of my due date. Oh my God, girl. Okay, jealous. But everyone else
would never be me.
No way. So for everyone else that's like, a normal creative that struggles with deadlines, I had an editor who I absolutely adored. As in, like, I got her to re-edit some of my older books that just hadn't been done up to snuff. Like, I loved working with her. I still think she's an amazing human being. I'm very disappointed that unfortunately she has no wiggle room on delivery dates. Like if you say you're giving it to her on Thursday the 3rd, you have to give it to her at like 8 a.m. on Thursday the 3rd. And that's totally fair. That's how she operates, and that's how she needs to operate. I can't do that. And I tried to make it work, and I killed myself to make it work. And I think she killed herself to make it work because we loved working together in every other aspect. But for me, this was like a fundamental thing that just was not working. And for her too. And we just kind of mutually agreed, like, you know what? As much as we love each other, it's not going to work out. And to this day, I'm still like, I think she's amazing. I recommend her all the time to people. I'm like, if you can be right on top of things and you have no problems, send this book to her. But now I have an editor who I'll be like, I can out of the blue email and be like, hey, you know what? I randomly wrote a book in 3 weeks. You know, can you just take this on your schedule? And she's like, yeah. Or I can email her and be like, hey, remember that book I was supposed to send you like 3 weeks ago? Well, I just finished it and I need it in 3 weeks. And she'll be like, done. You know, and that flexibility is just invaluable.
Gold.
Like I would take that. I have to prioritize that over anything else because of how I know I work. And we've talked about this before, but when you are an entrepreneur, when you are working for yourself, you have to know how to hack your own systems. You have to be honest with yourself about how you work best, what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I know that one of my weaknesses is what we just talked about. Like I know that. I'll know that even if I have it done on the day, I'll suddenly have anxiety and be like, I have to read it through one more time. Or actually, I have
like,
to take
am I actually
this.
done?
Yeah, am I actually done? This feels like it's not right. Like, let me just angst out for like 2 days and then I'll send it to you. So yeah, I feel like hacking your own system is so important because when you do that, you know exactly what you need from your team and how to fill those gaps that in your proficiency that you just can't bring to the table.
And holding space for the people on your team to be honest with you about what they can and can't do too. Like I have a team of beta readers, alpha readers who have been with me for a long time. Every now and then I'll add someone new to the mix or keep them on. If I had them come on for a certain project and loved their feedback, I might be like, hey, I would love to work with you again. But for the most part, they stay the same. And when I send my books to them, I'm very honest. I'm like, hey, this is the date I anticipate getting it to you. As it gets closer, if that date is not happening anymore, I will be like, here's more so what it's looking like. I want you to check your calendar. You're going to have X amount of days to read this book and get feedback to me. If that does not work for you anymore because I missed my deadline, 100% okay. But you need to let me know now so that I can like find somebody else to fill your shoes if needed. And my team will tell me like most of the time they're like, yes, 100% I'm available for you. But sometimes like I just had a book that I gave to them over the Christmas holiday and I knew going into it, asking someone to read in the days leading up to Christmas and then up to New Year. That's a big ask. And I was like, I get it if you're busy, if this is not for you. And I was able to find the people on my team who could be there for me just because we had open dialogue about it. So I do think it's important, like you said, find your editors that work for you, find your beta readers that work for you. Oh, and with cover designers, like every cover designer is a diva. I love you all, but you're all divas and we are divas. And so you put two divas together on a project and everyone's frustrated. It's like the author is like, I have this vision. This is what I see. This is what I want to happen. And the illustrator's like, you're insane. None of that makes sense. Here, let me try to guide you and wrangle you. Yeah. And then you have the illustrator being like, I need all this information from you, which to an author feels like another task, another thing I have to do. Like, what do you mean I now have to tell? Yeah. Right. It is. Yeah. So there's a lot of things so finding a designer that you jive with as well, that understands your vision, gets what you're trying to go for, and can make that part of your life easier too is huge. So just because you use somebody once doesn't mean you have to use them forever.
Yeah, and just because someone is very like talked about around town doesn't mean that they're the right person for you. Like I think that there's actually trends in cover designers too, just like there's trends in covers. Just because everyone's using someone doesn't mean that they're going to be your cup of tea. Speaking of people that we've worked with since the beginning of our career, when I was looking for a cover designer for my first book, I flipped open a Corinna Halley book because I loved Corinna Halley. She was one of the OG indie authors. She's Canadian. So I looked at who she worked with and it was Cambar Designs. Cambar designs all of my main covers to this day and has since the very beginning. And working with Nala and Nada is like incredible. They get me. They've worked with me for so long. I don't feel like I ever have to explain myself. I'm like, oh, you just get me. Like, I gave you the brief and you
Yeah,
just get me.
you
And
understand.
that's so exciting. And then later on in my career, when discrete covers started to be a thing, I was like, okay, well, I actually want to try someone new. And I wanted to try TRC Designs. Kat is also Canadian.
Yes, she's
And
amazing.
she's amazing. And I also find that her level of flexibility and easygoingness really works well with me. I'm someone who hates conflict. And I hate if someone pushes back on me too much, even if I'm not happy, I'll just be like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Because I really, really hate conflict that much, which is, something that I continually have to work on. But because of that, I know I can't have someone on my team who's strong-willed enough, like, or just doesn't allow space for me to express myself. Because if they don't give me space, I won't. Even if it's my business, even if it's my book. And so I've discovered that I really need to prioritize people who are like, hey, if it doesn't work for you, please tell me. I'm happy to change it. And, if that doesn't work, I'll change it again. And that doesn't happen that much with my cover designers. I feel like we're so simpatico now after working together for so long. But even if it does, or even if I need something last minute, like, oh, by the way, I tried to upload this here and it didn't work. Can you get me the files with a little tweak? They'll be like, yeah, bing, bang, boom. Within 3 days, at least, I have those files. Like, the timeliness, because I always say, and you can, maybe it's not fair, but you were saying that we're divas. I think because we're essentially creative people, we do just have this creative spirit that sometimes cannot be wrangled, okay? And sometimes it's not on task, or it's not on time, or there's a random thing that we want to change. I want to be able to be the biggest diva.
Oh yeah. I mean, diva is the female version of a hustler, baby.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there is no shame in being a diva. It's knowing your brand, knowing your business, being a smart, intelligent person who just understands what it takes to get shit done, and not being afraid of asking for it and demanding what you deserve. And so
And
I
you know
love that
best. Because it's your
and you know
business.
best.
Yeah.
It's your business. Yeah. And there's so many decisions. I mean, you want to talk about decision fatigue. Like, we have so many decisions that we make day to day as an author in our stories, and then as a businesswoman who is selling our stories and managing our stories and publishing our stories. So it all adds up. So the more that you have people on your team who understand the vision, who work with you in the way that you need them to work with you. And I think that comes too with understanding personality types. And like, anytime I actually bring someone onto my internal team, which I'm sure we'll get to here shortly, I am talking to them about, I want you to take the Enneagram test. I want you to take the Clifton Strengths test. Like, I need to know how to communicate with you, and I need you to understand how to communicate with me. I want to know what's important to you. I want you to understand what's important to me. It's just going to make everybody's life easier. Now, you can't always do that with like everyone, right? You can't have your editor and your graphic designer, but even if I start to work with someone and I realize, like, there are some people on my team that I can text and it doesn't make them upset. Like, we are fine with breaking that boundary, that work boundary. There are other people who I know they appreciate if I just keep work stuff in emails and I keep only friend things in text messages. And I respect that. I'm into that too. Like, let's not blur the line. So I think it's really about tuning into the truth of who you are and what you expect and what you need, and then asking that other person to show up in the same way.
We've talked about, identity and this idea of it in terms of like how to make your books sound like you, but it goes further than that. Like, when you sit down to make that list of, what colors am I drawn to, what themes, what kind of romances, you also need to write down, like, who am I as a person? Do I like to take vacations where I'm totally offline? Okay, that's great. But that also means that then your team is going to have to step up for you when you're totally offline on vacation in order to take over for you, right? And there's things like that
happen.
To make things happen, because taking time off is hard. So if that's a priority for you, then you need to have your team step in so that you don't actually take time off. So there's a bunch of things like that I think, again, it's about being honest with yourself and what your needs are. So if you're someone that is looking to expand your team, I definitely think sit down and be like, okay, am I a type A person and I need someone type A on my team, or else I'll go crazy? Or, for example, for me, I was like, I love to be organized. I don't love to organize. Like, I love when things are laid out. I know how I want things to be. I love it when I have spreadsheets and everything, but I don't want to do those. Like, I don't want to spend my time organizing my life. I just want it to be organized for me because that makes me feel happy. So I needed on my team, I need a type A person because I want that level of organization and sophistication in my business, but I don't actually want to maintain it because I can't hold that in my head as well as doing everything else that I need to do. So you need to ask yourself those kinds of questions, like, who are you? What do you need? Because you need that person or people that are filling in on your team to fit those roles for you so that there's a copacetic, symbiotic nature, but in your relationship. If you get someone that's just like you might be like, hey, we get along really well. Great. But it's not about necessarily getting along like your besties, because, you also want to maintain some level of professionalism in there where you feel like you can be like, hey, you kind of messed this up. I need you to fix it. Or, hey, this is actually the standard that I want. And if you're too close to the point that all of your professional walls have fallen down, sometimes that can also be an issue that can be really hard to resolve.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, my second agent I got burned with so badly because I definitely interpreted us as having a friendship. And in the end, they parted ways with me by way of an email the night before Thanksgiving and basically just said, we want to pay attention to our clients who are outperforming others and we have our hands full. And so we're kind of cutting the little guys. And I was like devastated. I remember writing an email back and
thing to say.
it was. I felt like it was, but I mean, again, I'm older now. I've had growth. I probably maybe overreacted a little too dramatically, but at the same time, I was hurt, and I'm not like ashamed of letting them know that. But it put my guards up, and it moving forward when I work with people now, I do my best to not be too close of friends with them, and it never works.
Yeah.
It never works,
but
because
that's
I'm just
who you are as a person,
and
it's who I am as a person too. And so again, I think it's about knowing yourself. It's like, okay, we know that we are going to develop a friendly relationship with the people that we work with. So I know going into something that I need to have, the person cannot take advantage of that. I can't be in a relationship, a working relationship with someone who's going to take advantage of the fact that I'm very easygoing, personable, want to be friends, want the best for them. Because you can be put in that position where it's like, oh, hey, I've had before where it's like, oh, hey, I was going to do this, but then this happened. And I'm like, okay, like, no worries. But if it happens 12 times in a row, that's taking advantage of my friendship. Right. And so, again, it's like this fine line of you need to advocate for yourself always. And you really want to have a team who wants to advocate for you as well. And I think that feeds into something else that I want to talk about, which is especially when we're talking about assistants. Because I feel like assistant, our right-hand woman or man or whoever you have, your right-hand person is so elemental to your career, especially as you start to grow. And I think that it can be really hard. You're like, okay, well, Giana, Kandi, where do you find this person? Well, there isn't a bulletin board of perfect PAs in the universe, right? And the perfect PA for Kandi isn't going to be the perfect PA for me, and vice versa, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that there's two elements, and I'd be curious to see what you think about this, Kandi, but I think there's two elements that you want to consider. What kind of skills does this person bring to the table? Because really, this is a very niche job. Like they need to know what Ingram Spark is, maybe what Vellum is and formatting. They need to know how to upload your books to the KDP dashboard. They need to know maybe how to run ads on Amazon or Facebook. Like there's so many specific random skills that this person will either need to have coming into it, or you will have to teach them. So that's also investment in them, and it's a lot of time. But also there is this sort of aspect that I feel is important, and that I want them to be a fan of me and my work. I 100%. Can't imagine having someone on my team who's never read one of my books, who doesn't want to or doesn't like what I write. Like, to me, that would almost be impossible. Like, how can you have someone on your team that doesn't love what, like, do they not love being on your team? Like, why are they on your team if they don't love your books or they don't want you to be successful because they think that you're super talented?
That part right there, that is, I think, what so many of my author friends have struggled with when finding an assistant, finding an PA, is like, you're on this hunt to find somebody who will be as invested in your success as you are, which is like, one, that's impossible, but can you get close? Can you get close? Can you find someone who cares deeply about you, about your books, about your brand, so much so that when they show up to work, it's not like, oh, I got to do all this crap today for Kandi. It's like, I'm so excited to get to work today because we've got big goals for 2026, baby, and we're going to tackle them. Like that is the mindset that you want your assistant to have.
And it helps them be proactive. For me, that's something also that I've realized I really need is I don't want you to just do what I say. I want you to also come to me and be like,
No.
hey, I saw this is trending. I have this idea, like based on this book, I think this would be really fun to do marketing wise. Or like you want someone, again, with that level of investment that is more than cursory. Like they believe in
Yes.
you and they want you, they want to do whatever they can to uplift you. And that's, guys, it seems impossible because it almost is. Like finding the perfect PA, I don't want you to think is like just picking an apple off of a tree. It's super
No.
hard. And that's why, when I talk about you having to be comfortable parting ways with people, this is one of those things. You will probably have multiple PAs before you find someone that really works for you. And again, you don't really want to settle because this person is your right hand person. And as you grow your business and things get more and more intense, you need someone who can pick up more and more of the slack. And you need someone also to just be there for you, both professionally and probably emotionally. Like when your agent breaks up with you, you need to be able to go to your assistant and be like, what the hell? What is this about?
Yeah.
Hold me while I cry. Or if you have a book release flop, you want someone who can be like, hey, I looked at the metrics. This is what I think happened. But also, you're still so talented. Don't worry about it. Like, this person is your
Yes.
cheerleader and your quarterback, and you really need not to settle, specifically for your assistant.
I really want to talk about my right-hand woman. Her name is Tina. And if you
She's
know anything
amazing.
about me, if you're like online or if you've been at an event with me, you've probably met Tina or you've probably talked to her online, even if you're not aware. But before we get to that part of the conversation, I do want to take a minute to spotlight one of our sponsors and do a little backlist deep dive. Because this one is actually very close to my heart. So this episode is sponsored by Jillian Dodd, a USA Today bestselling mother-daughter writing duo made up of Jill and Kinsey. And truly, their books were such a huge part of my reading life. I'm talking full-on obsession. I was involved in group chats. I was swapping theories. I was listening to playlists nonstop. I went to legit reader retreats on the beach with Jillian and all of the readers who were also obsessed. And that series in question is called The Keaton Chronicles. So this series like genuinely helped solidify my love for indie romance and binge reading. I adore Jillian. I adored the series. I was just so obsessed. And it starts with the book number 1 called Stalk Me. If you like Gossip Girl or Pretty Little Liars or The Summer I Turned Pretty, like this is right up your alley. It will be your next obsession. It's got boarding school drama, celebrity family secrets, a love triangle that you will not stop thinking about, and I can attest to that, and a dangerous twist that pulls you in really fast. It's swoony, scandalous, and impossible not to binge. The entire series is also available in Kindle Unlimited, which I love. So huge thank you to Jillian Dodd for sponsoring the show, and if you're looking for a series to disappear into, The Keaton Chronicles is waiting for you. Okay, so Tina is my right-hand woman, and a lot of people ask me, how do you find an assistant? And I feel like I'm not qualified to answer that question because the universe stepped in for my life. Like I went to a book signing in Oklahoma in 2014 and no, 2015 and met Tina as a reader. She was wearing these really cool red glasses. She was so cute and just adorable. And she came to my table. She had read my books and, wanted to get them signed, which back then I was like, you read me? This is amazing. And we just started chatting. And then from there, we became friends. We would chat online. And when we went to events that the other person was at, we would obviously hang out. And then slowly, we became closer. She ended up getting into the space of like helping and being an assistant to authors with another friend of mine, Stacey Hart. And then she quit her job and she was like, I'm leaning into being the author assistant. So I hired her for like 10 hours a month. Like that was it. It was like 10 hours a month. It was like her lowest package because I was like, I can't hire people. I'm not like a legit business. I can't just hire somebody. That's how I felt. And then it just like, this is what they don't tell you when they say you like to scale up your business that you need to bring on a team. I think what they leave out of that is the reason why. And the more that I gave to Tina and the more she earned my trust, the more time I had to do other really exciting things that moved my business ahead at like exponential levels, because you only have so much time in the day. You only have so much energy to share between these creative projects that have your attention. And suddenly I was like, I was like flush with time. I was flush with time. I was flush with creative energy because I had somebody taking some of that weight off of me of the like admin tasks. And then it was like, okay, we're going to go from 10 hours a month to 20 hours a month. Okay, now we're going to go to 15 hours a week. Now we're going to go to 25 hours a week. And like she is essentially she's part-time, but a pretty heavy part-time employee for me now. And I know she works with Bookbo and a couple of other authors still, but primarily she works on Kandi Steiner LLC things. And she has access to my KDP accounts. Like there's nothing like finding someone you can trust with that stuff, because if you're going to trust someone to upload your book to Amazon or to change prices of a book for a sale, that is massive. Like one misstep and it can all blow up and it reflects on you. Like I can't just be like, oh, sorry, that sale didn't go through. My assistant had a bad day. Like it's on Kandi Steiner LLC as a whole. So I love Tina, and I really love, she does a lot of what you were just talking about in the sense of like she anticipates what needs to happen before I've even thought of it. Yeah. So we'll be on a call and I'll be like, X, Y, and Z is happening. So we need to, and before I can even open my mouth, she's like, I already made the graphics. I went ahead and uploaded this. I have that to go. If you can just send me a picture, I'll get this going. And I'm like, this is what I need, because that being taken off my plate now opens it up to where I can focus on the books that I'm writing and the editing that's going on and the massive creative input and output that we have going every single day.
It really is. Like when you find someone like that, they're worth their weight in gold, because, again, she's, and I mean, I know and love Tina, so I can speak to this as well. Like she's so happy to work so hard for you because she believes in you and she loves you, and like as an author and as a person, and that's the dream.
Yeah.
And I will say that I think a lot of people that I know in this space that are successful authors have a great team. And so it's something that you can't really discount. Like, and I don't want to say that and then have people be like, well, I don't have a team, or why my team isn't very good or whatever, because you definitely can. There's exceptions to every rule, first of all. And you still have time. And that's kind of what I'm saying is if someone's not working for you, you have to be honest for your sake and their sake, and just be like, it's not working out. And kind of cut your loss earlier than you think you should, because even with Tina, who's incredible, there's still a learning curve for everyone, right? And even I have two assistants.
Oh, there was a massive, I mean, she's not perfect. She makes mistakes.
Everyone does, of course. Everyone makes mistakes. And because the industry is changing so much, our business has to change so much. And so it's kind of, if they're not a hustler, if they're not someone who wants to keep learning, then it's not going to work out either. You can't be complacent. As an author, as in any space in this industry, you can't be complacent. So that's an important thing, I think, just to keep in mind. There is a learning curve. Sometimes you have to learn something in order to teach your assistant how to do something. Or, you have to buy a class for them. And it's a very worthwhile investment. If I could say at the end of this episode, you come away with one thing, if you feel like you're scaling up your business or you're serious about scaling up your business in 2026, it's one of your New Year's resolutions, definitely consider at least hiring for a few hours a week an assistant to take care of some admin to free you up to either write more books or do more marketing like TikTok or whatever, or being on Instagram or a newsletter sort of thing, whatever it is. Having someone on your team to alleviate some of the stress, sometimes all-consuming stress of being an author and your endless to-do list is so invaluable.
Yeah, I think the word investment that you just used is money. Like investment right there into that person. You're going to invest your time to train them. You're going to invest your energy to get them on the same space, and like there's going to be learning curves. But that highest ROI that I've seen in any part of this industry, because it's going to come back to you time and time and time again. And then you do find this symbiotic relationship where you are giving and taking in tandem, and it makes sense and it works. And you're not going to get there. You're not going to get to this assistant that you're like, wow, what would I do without you? If you don't have the courage to cut your losses early and figure out relatively quickly when things are not working for you. And I mean, I have had people that I brought into my team for various things that I have just learned don't work for me. A great example is social media. When I was going into the third trimester of my pregnancy, knowing that I was staring down the barrel of being out for maternity leave, I was like, you know what? It would probably be smart of me to bring someone on to kind of manage my social media while I'm in this stage of life. And they did a wonderful job. There was nothing they did wrong. It was just that my readers are used to me being online. It's my voice, it's my content, it's what I have always decided to put out. So when I'm hands off of social media, my social media tanks. It just doesn't perform the same. It's not working as well. And it's because of how I've built my career. So I have learned social media is forever going to be a part of my job. My job's always going to be somehow I'm going to have my hands in social media. Now, my team and I have figured out ways that we can have it better organized and we can plan better and we can, things of that nature. But it's not something that I can offload. So knowing that, I'm like, okay, this goes in line with writing. Social media and writing are always going to be really important to me, like those forms of marketing, writing my newsletter, stuff like that. But there's other things that I can hand off that are more behind the scenes. And it is okay to delegate those things as long as it's the right person. And G, I'm really curious what you will think of this, because we sort of have we have very different situations in terms of our men. So Hayden has a job that he loves and he's doing his own thing, right? He is completely disconnected from your business and also is a part of you and your brand, right? Like you post about him, he comes to book signings, readers know him and see him and are excited to see him, right? So he is part of your life, your career, your journey. My husband, same thing, except he actually works for me. So he is on the payroll. He is doing marketing. He's doing business management. He is an active part of the team. So it's me, Jack, and Tina. And I'm curious, do you have, other than him being very supportive and lovely, does Hayden have any hands in your business at all?
No.
She's no.
He doesn't. And it's funny, I was just talking to him the other day just about our life. We're having a baby, and in general, we're very fiercely independent people as individuals. And I always make the joke that if I was less independent at all, he wouldn't be with me, because he just loves that I do my own stuff. I have my own pursuits, that we can go away and come back together with new and interesting things to say. It's an important part of our relationship. But we were laughing because we were like, even in our personal lives, we're not, we don't have a lot of joint accounts, or we don't really do anything like that kind of together. And we're about to have a baby. Maybe we should think about that. And whenever I go to signings, a lot of my author friends are surprised when they find out that Hayden has nothing to do with my business. And actually, there's been funny moments where at a bar, an author will chat Hayden up and be like, oh yeah, I don't know if Giana does this, but this is how I do it. And da-da-da. And Hayden will be like, wait. Just so you know, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I have no idea.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So, and he's had some funny moments.
I will say though, I do remember when we were talking about the podcast in Orlando, and it was me, you, Hayden, and Jack, kikiing, and he did, he's invested, he knows what's going on, and he has thoughts, and he's excited about it. He just doesn't have hands in the pot.
Totally. He's super supportive and excited. He reads all of my books. He'll ask me what's going on, especially in that situation though. He's very comfortable with you and Jack, and so he'll be more engaged, but in general he usually is just I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna just peace out. But I think I'm really okay with that. I don't know, I really enjoy it just being my thing, and I actually was had some thoughts, because I do think that there is something for the fact that your husband and you are working towards the same goal. You're both just, as we said, how do you find someone who's just invested? Well, your husband is probably a pretty good bet to be just as invested in your work and your success as you are, because it's your family, and they're supportive in a way that probably no one else is going to be. So there is something that's lovely about that. And I think if you can tap into that, as a lot of authors do, like I love that this industry has so many husbands working for their wives. It's the coolest
Oh,
thing
so many.
ever. But I think just for us, it's just not really the way that I ever see it going. And part of that
I mean,
is,
I was just gonna say, I remember when I was debating, or like Jack and I were talking about, like, should we do this? Like, should he quit his job and come on to work for me full time? And I had posted in a author group that I'm a part of, just to be like, what do you guys think of this? And like, do you have any experience? And I still remember to this day the comment from Corinne Michaels, and she was like, I would murder my husband if we worked together. She was like, it would never work for us. And there were a lot of comments like
mhm,
that. There were a lot of comments being like, this is one thing, like, we are separate. We can't work together. Jack and I work together so well. Like,
mhm,
we do a really great job of keeping business talk during business hours too, which I think is really important. Like,
mhm.
sometimes we'll be on a date and we're tempted to talk about work stuff, and we're like, nope, let's just like put a pin in that. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
That's
But
amazing because a
he is
lot of
like,
people can't do that.
I know, and I know,
Mhm,
and I think it's because we're both mindful, and we went into this very mindful. We both were like, if it doesn't work for you, it's okay. If it doesn't work for me, it's okay. Like, we're just gonna see how it goes. But we I love having someone who is just as invested, right, in the success of the business, because it directly impacts us.
mhm,
And he was in marketing before this, so he's savvy. Like, he does all my ads. I haven't touched my Facebook ads since
mhm,
he started working with me, which is wonderful.
mhm,
But he also cares about the industry. He's always doing research. He's coming to book signings with me. He genuinely is curious. Like, his favorite part of any book signing is when we go to dinner with
yeah.
other authors and their like significant others. He's like, I sit at this table with you and these other women, and you're all so fucking smart and
Mhm.
like business savvy, and you're just chat, 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 chat. And as someone who's like listening, it blows my mind because you're all like, just it's like a massive level of business success, and we're just like chit chatting with our
Yeah.
wine and like eating our bread,
Yeah, yeah.
like having like
Just having a good
these
time.
having a good time. And so, and I also really love that it helps, when you have a baby, when you want to travel. Like, that was our first thing, was like, wow, if we do want to travel for work, like for a book signing, we don't have to be like, oh, can Jack go? Like, can
Mhm.
he get the time off work? Can he afford to be there? It was like, no, he's in it with me. So it is really cool. And
That is something that's easier for my husband. He's a realtor. So he goes with me on
oh
most
yeah.
of my trips. He makes his own hours. Like it yeah, we already planned our first trip with the baby in the fall. We're going for a month to Europe, and like Hayden will come with us,
Oh,
obviously. So it's definitely, I
amazing.
think if that couldn't happen, I'd be much more inclined to be like, you're a part of my team. Like, come work for me,
Yes.
so that
Wait,
we can have this kind of life.
I'm just going to side note that I love that you're doing this with the baby. It's like the best time to fly with your baby.
I'm
Like
so
like he
excited.
is just going to be snuggling you. He
Mhm.
could carry him everywhere. Like, if he's fussy, whatever, he's a brand new baby, so no one cares. It's
Yeah.
like the best time to travel with a baby.
So I did a lot of research into that because you and I are both travelers, and also like if having friends like you who do love to travel and have traveled with their baby, it's just so heartening. Because I
Yeah.
travel is such a big part of my life and personality that the idea, honestly, even I'm like about to enter my confinement where like I can't travel 9 weeks before
Yeah.
the due date and 9 weeks after, and I'm like, this is literally, no
It's
joke, the
torture.
longest. It's the longest that I'll have been home for in years, like
Yep.
literally years. So normally
Same.
I travel like every month. I feel like I'm going somewhere. So it's, if I couldn't have travel in my life that way and I didn't have a husband who could support me in that, either by coming with me or like just allowing for that, it would be a completely different story because he's got such an independent job. It makes it so much easier. And I think it's not that we wouldn't work well together. I just think that we spend so much time together. I we were just joking last night, like, how many hours of our lives have we spent together? Like, definitely over half because we've known each other our whole lives. So it's just
You have,
nice to
yeah.
have a little bit of this just be my thing. And also, as kind of like a pride thing for me, I'm like, this is my thing that I did by myself as this woman, and it makes me feel
Yes.
happy to have that. And it's nothing against him. It's more probably just my single mom influence being like, you do you, girl, and you're killing it, sort of
Yes.
thing. But that said, I actually recently had thoughts about bringing my sister-in-law onto the team because she's one of my best friends. She's my sister-in-law. She works in communications and she's moving home from Denmark soon. And I was like, it'd be amazing to have someone that actually lives where I live. because
Yes.
I've never had that before living in Canada, and someone who would be invested because they're my family in that next level way that you don't always get with just like a random assistant. So I do get why people work with family a lot. Holly Renee is such a good example. Like her whole family works for her. Her
Yes.
her husband, her sister, I think her sister-in-law works for her. Like they all work for her, and that's amazing because again, they're also invested in that business.
A.L.
Obvi-
Jackson too.
A.L. Jackson,
Like
yeah,
whole
like
family
her
involved.
daughter, her son-in-law, everyone, and I think that that is a really cool way to do it because again, we're looking for that level of investment, and just for people who are like, where do I even look for anyone that could even just be a PA? Look in author groups. Look sometimes at people that you follow on Instagram. They'll have like author services in their bio. You can always start off as like a la carte client, like I just need you to do some graphics for me or something. And there's also always going the route of being like, this person is my number one fan. Like they're obsessed with my
Yeah.
books. They are always like, oh, are you doing this and that? You can always, lots of people hire those number one fans to be their assistants. And there's more training involved because they don't have the skills yet, but
Yeah. But again, investment. It's
investment.
all about investment.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those, like, we came into this and I think we both were like, I wonder if we're going to have like enough to talk about. And like,
There's
here we
so
are. I
much.
still have so much on my mind
I know.
that
We'll do a
like we
part
could
two.
keep going. We have to do a part two. But I do think that we should kind of get to the end of our show. I'm very excited for the bump date, but we have a few things to do before then.
I just want to mention that we actually are doing a book club, and we talked about this in our first episode, but our first book that we're reading together is by A.L. Jackson. It's From Here to Eternity. I actually just started reading it on Kindle. I know Kandi is doing it on audio, and
Yes.
I'm so excited. I just read the first chapter last night, so I'm literally just dipping my toes in, but I'm already so excited to get back to it as like the carrot at the end of my stick for the day. And we are going to be
Yes.
discussing this on February 18th in that podcast episode. So make sure that you guys pick up From Here to Eternity by A.L. Jackson so that you guys can follow along with us.
Yes, and thank you, A.L. Jackson, for being a sponsor and a friend of the show. We appreciate you so much. I'm really enjoying the audio. I love like certain books in audio, and this is one of them because the narrators are great, and there's already off to a good start. We've got motorcycles, we've got tattoos. Like I'm in. I'm so
I mean,
far
we all
in.
know I'm in for that too.
I know. No surprise there.
Okay, so before we go, we also have our red flag, green flag segment. With our, you like our huge flags, you guys, our referee flags.
These things are like the size of our face.
But it's good. It's go big or go home. Okay, so this
Go big
week
or go home.
is really fun. This week is what do you think about the degradation kink in fiction and in real life? And so for those of you who need a little bit of assistance with what that means, degradation is usually when someone kind of is dirty talking to you and there's an element of humiliation or talking down to you. So they might call you like a dirty little slut, one of my faves, or they might call you like a whore, or they might say like, you know, you're not impressing me while you're giving them head, something like that, where they're kind of belittling you a little bit, all for the sake of turning you on.
Green flag.
Green flag!
I actually think green flag in real life and in fiction for me on this one. Like, I love it in fiction. I love it to write it. I love if you do it well, like especially if you do it well. Because I mean, even if it's done poorly, I probably am still enjoying it.
Yeah, same.
But especially when you do it well, like when you have the right kind of kink there, I think it makes a big difference. In real life, I will be honest, I have not actually had it play out super intensely. I've not like, you know, I haven't had someone be like, yeah, my dirty little slut, but I've had variations. I've had variations of that, and I love it every time.
There's a scale for everything.
There's a scale.
Yeah. And I
There's
also
a
have
scale.
to
And
say,
I don't think there's anything that Jack could say to me that I would be like, that's gone too far. Like
Yeah.
if he came in here and was like, get on your knees, you dirty little whore, I'd be like, yes, daddy.
yes,
Like,
daddy, please. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's also like, it obviously depends on circumstances, how comfortable you are with yourself and in your relationship, because, you know, if you're not comfortable in the relationship, you can be like, wait, do you actually think I'm a dirty slut? Like that obviously doesn't feel good. But in a safe environment, I love it so much. And I also love it when it's combined with a praise kink. So it's kind of like, you're a dirty little slut. Oh, but now you're being a good girl. Spread your legs for me. Yeah, exactly. Like that combination is elite to me. And I actually don't know if I can even, like, those together, it's like my favorite thing in the whole
every time. I just eat it up.
Every single time.
I eat it up.
Yeah. I just think it's so great. So if you guys don't agree with us, please let me know why, because obviously we don't understand.
Yeah, no, I would really love to, because I do think that combination is huge. Like the degradation with the praise, they go hand in hand. You can't just have I don't want just degradation. I want you to also like put me back together in the end and like assure me in fiction. I mean, like the caretaking scene after a good degradation scene is like,
it's so good.
Like wrap me up in a blanket, bring me some water, tell me how good I did. Yes, please.
It's so elite. Yeah, like tear me down to bring me back up. I don't know. It's a whole roller coaster, and for angst-loving girls like us, we love that. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Masochism at its best. We have a question from a reader this week, so I'm super excited to get into that. And if you want to ask us something, you can head over to speakpipe.com/talkspicytomepodcast. It's also in all of our links. If you go to our Instagram and find us there, you can head to the link in our bio and it will take you to SpeakPipe. So this week we have a question from Jackie.
Okay, hi, I'm Jackie. I'm obsessed with this podcast. I just have to say, I'm loving it so far. I'm coming out with my debut book in February, and I have 2 questions. The first one's kind of fun, but painful. If you only had your books backed up on your computer and it crashed, and the tech guy said, I can recover one of them, which one would it be? That's hard. Which is funny because Say Yes is one of my favorite books ever, and I wonder if that I'm so curious. I have to know what you guys would pick for your own books. And then the second question, kind of more advice, maybe a hot take. I don't know if this really falls in line with what this what this question box was meant for, so bear with me. But lots of authors are using like incredible images these days to kind of represent their characters on like all the social media platforms. And some newer authors are kind of taking the risk of copyright infringement when they take those from Pinterest. And obviously that's a no-no. So the rest of us are kind of trying to find picks on like Unsplash or platforms that like help with those licensing issues. Was this a problem that you guys faced when you first started on Instagram? Or was it like not a trend until recently? I so badly want to have that visual representation for my audience, but it's kind of hard to find at this point and almost impossible to pay for.
Oh, what a great question. First of all, thank you, Jackie, so much for being a listener and saying all those sweet things about the podcast, because that just made me like so giddy. I was over here like blushing. Your first question is so hard. That's like putting a gun to our head and asking us to choose a favorite baby. I will say for me, like I do feel like some of my books, if I had to like retype it hand by hand, like only with the Kindle version in front of me, I could do it. But there's some books I have that I have a lot of behind the scenes notes or things that like readers have never seen that I would be devastated to lose because they matter to me. So you did guess mine. I think, Jackie, you guessed mine. Yeah. Say Yes is the one that I would hold on to if I could hold one.
I honestly don't really know. It's so hard. I think I'm actually going to follow in your footsteps because I love this idea. Like, what is a book that maybe has more than just the manuscript to it in the doc? And so if I'm going to go by that, I'll probably do Caution to the Wind, actually. Because there's like a lot of meat in there that I like took away, or, you know, things like that I don't know. And then also I had that book with all of that, like being like when I lost my social media and stuff. And that book was just like my Gibraltar rock during that time where I was like, I have this baby, like still. So it was like my touchstone in my career. So maybe from that point of view too, I would keep that one. But it's really an impossible question. And it kind of feels like a workaround of what's your favorite book. And I don't have a favorite book.
Yeah.
And so I just want to preface that and like reiterate and say, I do not have a favorite book. And if I did, it would just change every time I had to answer that question.
It changes every time I answer. I tell people when they ask me on podcasts, I'm like, I'll answer what I feel like today. But if you go listen to me on another podcast, it's going to be a different answer.
Well, usually I choose my least popular book because I'm like, this is my least popular son. He needs love. Like I need to amp him up a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Like you should love this one more. So yeah, I think, that's a hard question. The other question though, I think is really, really fair. Stock photos are stock photos. Okay. There's not an endless amount of them. There are definitely some that are super popular where you look at a teaser and you're like, oh, I've seen this a ton of times. I've seen it on covers. I've seen it on teasers. I would say, first of all, do not get bogged down in your imagery. Especially for me, I write a lot of like diverse characters, and I like struggle. If you wanted to find like a plus size, model, or if you want to find someone with blue hair, if you want to find a black man with a redheaded woman or whatever, if you want any sort of
like impossible
other combinations, you won't find them. So just don't worry about it too much. You can always do like a black and white photo instead if you're worried about how them looking, the right coloring or something like that. I also think that you can always do aesthetic teasers instead of worrying about doing people teasers. That's something that I've actually pivoted towards now because I found that it was really hard to find as many images as I needed for the diverse cast of characters that I was writing about. That said, there's a lot of different sites. Like there's obviously Shutterstock and Adobe and Deposit Photos. There's free sites like Unsplash that actually can have a lot that are really good. I love Unsplash. Not so much for people photos, but like if you're doing an aesthetic reel or something or a TikTok, that's a really good place to look. And again, it's free. So there's a lot of resources out there and you just have to kind of get over the idea of being picky and being like, this is exactly the right photo of this person. Because it's not going to happen.
I will also say, like, I understand the desire of wanting to make like the edits that our readers make, right? Where there's like this collage and there's all these like beautiful people that they found on Pinterest and you're like, oh, I can't do that because they're Pinterest images. But what you can do is share that thing that a reader made to your story and amplify it. You can ask for their permission to repost it and you can post on your feed and say like, I love this graphic that so-and-so made. So it might not be yours and you might not be able to do endless things with it, but there are still ways that you can share it with your audience and reach them in a way that is fun and creative and share that. If you want to make, go ahead.
I was going to say, I would caveat, I actually wouldn't share it to my feed unless it was stock photos. I would just share it to my stories. And I'm just saying that as someone who's being extra careful, but like early in my career, I shared an edit that a reader had made that was not stock photos and I got in trouble for it. And I just didn't know better at the time. This was years and years ago. But now I'm just really careful. And I just think if readers want you to share their things or repost them, then you should say like, hey, if you use stock imagery, then I will repost. Yeah. But if you don't, like for my teams, I'll say if you want to use stock imagery, like I can repost that. But if you don't, then I'm just going to share it to my stories. Just again, to be extra careful with legality reasons, because even if you see some like a big author using Pinterest photos, that's not legal. So just don't do it because you could get in trouble.
It's not legal. I thought that if you share to your feed as like a carousel of like, these are reader made posts that I loved, that it was okay. But I do not want to go on record and say that.
Maybe it's okay. It's just for me, I usually just do them to my stories. That's like, I know is a safe space. But basically when you're doing something to promote something, to promote your work, you just have to be careful. So you do what you feel comfortable with, but I definitely would not encourage you to like make your own teasers and edits using unlicensed photos. No, definitely don't. And that like leads in my next piece of advice is it's a little out there and it takes more time and energy and investment. But if you find somebody online, on TikTok, on Pinterest, on Instagram, who shares photos and it aligns with something in your book that you really want to use, you can always shoot your shot and message them and just be like, hey, you and your boyfriend are so cute. I love this photo of you. I would love to use this in a promotional graphic for a book I wrote because you remind me of the characters. And you can give them an example of like what you might
might want to do. Now, I don't recommend doing this if you're about to share a really filthy
Mm-hmm.
teaser. Like, keep it like PG and be respectful. These are like real people, right? And so, but that is something that I have done way in the past. I don't do it as much anymore, but like in the past, when I've had, especially like a diverse book where I've had problems or issues finding people who represent the characters in my book, it was a lot easier to find real people, and I would just ask them, and some of them were like, no thank you, or they didn't respond, and other people were like, what, yeah, that's so cool, tag me. So you just never know.
And also something you've done before is a photo shoot for your cover, and then you've had extra photos that you use for promo, and a lot of people do that too. So if you're worried about really being true to the characters in that way, that's probably a worthwhile investment as well.
Also, if anybody's listening is a lawyer or lawyer adjacent, I really would love to know like what the official stance is on, because I have seen a lot of authors do the like where they share what other people have made and they just credit the person who made it, and it's like a carousel. So I've never done it, but now I'm very curious. Like, I don't want to be giving out advice that is illegal. So please let us know if you're a lawyer. Let us know. But okay, all right. And last but certainly not least, my favorite part of the show now, it's time for the bump date.
Okay. Here she is, and here he is. Belly.
Oh, my stars. Okay, I feel like you're more round in 1 week. Like, you're getting to the stage where you start growing by inches.
So now we're at the phase where he's growing half an inch. My belly will grow half an inch every week.
I knew it. I was like, whoa.
Because he's getting big. I'm like, this is no longer kind of cute. This is like getting into you're quite pregnant territory.
You're quite pregnant. So how pregnant are you? What week are we at?
27. So next week is my 3rd trimester.
Wow. How are you feeling coming out of the 2nd trimester? Like, this is huge.
Yeah. You know what? It's been a bit of a difficult pregnancy just with like feeling well. Like, I threw up twice yesterday, threw up this morning in the shower. Like, it's definitely, I just would say like the nausea has been rough, especially when you're just in the middle of doing something and then you just feel awful. I was getting really bad migraines like at the beginning of my 2nd trimester, and I've got those under control now, which is fantastic. Like, I'll have the odd headache, but definitely not those migraines that were like sometimes 3 days long. So yeah, I feel good. I'm definitely sleeping is getting a little uncomfy. Where you're just feeling
I was
like,
just gonna say,
how do I move this body?
3rd trimester was really rough for me sleep-wise. It's like I kind of just gave in. By the end, like at the last few weeks that I was pregnant, I would climb into bed at the time I normally went to bed, so like 10:30. But I got out my phone and I would scroll on TikTok and give myself little boosts of serotonin and just giggle and watch whatever made me happy, because I knew that even if I put everything away, I wasn't going to sleep anyway. So I would do that. I read like Ruby Dixon's entire Blue Alien series because it was like so fun and easy to read, and I was devouring it. Oh, it was great. So I think you just have to find whatever works for you and like hold on. But I mean, you're closing in now. You're just a few months away.
So we go away on a baby moon in like a week and a half, and then I'll be sequestered, my sequestered historical romance, like sequestered away, which will be weird for me, which is why I'm glad I have the pod too. So I still get my chatty time and get to see like, a friend, just because it's weird to I don't have a signing until October.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of you that's a good time in between having birth and going to a book signing. Like, you'll be excited to go. You'll be finding your bearings, especially if you end up breastfeeding. It's gonna be kind of an interesting thing to navigate. But you'll feel good about it being like 5-6 months postpartum. Like, I think if you had a signing, if you had a signing before that, I think you would be like, I'm not ready for this. Like, I'm not.
Well, I remember too, because you had one. Didn't you have one? You had one that you were like, oh, it'll be fine. And then it was like not even 3 months after. And you were like, actually, no, this isn't right.
I was supposed to go to Indies Invade Philly in November, and I gave birth in August. So it was going to be like 2 months. And before I even had Rosie, I was like, guys, that's not going to work.
Well, and that's the thing that I think for me has been the biggest learning curve is that I'm such a go, go, go person, as you know, because you're the same way, that it's been really hard to be forced to like listen to my body and be like, hey, you know what? You have to have a nap today for 2 hours, or you know what? You don't feel well, so you should not say yes to this thing. It's been really hard mentally for me, but good,
Yes.
you know, because really this is me learning that I'm not in charge of my own life anymore. My baby is, and that won't change when he's born.
No, I fear that you're going to continue to have the lesson in slowing down, whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
I know, especially for me, the productive mindset, it was hard when I was pregnant and didn't feel well and couldn't have my same output. I'm sure you can relate. Like, it's frustrating. You want to be the same productivity level that you were before, but you can't just mentally like you can do it your way through it. Like, you just can't.
No.
And then you have a baby who wants to sleep on you, and you're so happy when they're sleeping. You're like, I'm not going to move because I don't want a chance waking them up. So instead of having 3 hours to go get stuff done, you're sitting on the couch for 3 hours with the baby sleeping on you, which it sounds really lovely. And it is. It is when you're in it, you're like, this is so lovely. And also, I wish that I could get some other stuff done. And so it's okay to feel both things at the same time.
Yeah, I know you get it for sure, because we're both like that. But I'm honestly just excited. I'm excited to not be pregnant anymore, to meet him, and to have him in my life, because the being sick thing is just, that's the only part of it that, I mean, I love that he kicks. I love growing a baby. I'm so grateful to be pregnant. Like, every single day, I just thank the universe for that. But the sick thing was not. Being sick this often was not what I anticipated. So it's fine. Yeah. He's worth it, but you know.
He's so worth it.
Yeah.
What is he the size of this week? What's the fruit, or what are we?
Honeydew melon.
So honeydew. Wow, we're getting melons.
He weighs as much as a honeydew melon. Yeah. So he's getting hefty. He's like over 2 pounds now. So he's plumping up.
That's the best.
I know.
Okay. Well, listener, if you're still with us, thanks for being here. We appreciate you listening to the podcast so much. Again, you can send us a message on SpeakPipe if you want to have a chance to be on the pod with us. And you can also find us on social media. We are on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We also have a Facebook group for our Patreon members. So if you want to come join us on Patreon, we have all these different tiers. You can find what vibes best with you. My favorite, I believe, is tier 3, because you get early access to our episodes on YouTube. So it's really fun. We drop them early for y'all, and we're always chit-chatting on Patreon about the early episodes. So definitely recommend that, and we appreciate your support if you decide to be there. Also, you get access to our After Dark episodes, which we are going to record right after this, and we are going to be talking about our spring TBR and TBW. So not just what we're going to be reading this spring, but also what we're working on and what we have coming out. So tune into our After Dark episode for that magic later today.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. See ya.